brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey, welcome to this quick shot episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. This is Made Man Bob, and joining me today are Made Man Brent.
You know, why is the basement so dirty? I don't understand it.
Because I haven't had time to clean it.
It's like my house.
Yeah. I wanted you to feel at home. So,
but your house is clean on a Monday.
On a Monday, yes.
Yeah. Friday, not so much. Monday, perfectly fine.
Tuesday, not so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And good old boy Justin.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here as always.
Well, our sip segment's all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, coffee, and anything else we can drink. And we're doing some whiskeys today. So here are the whiskeys we're going to be discussing. We have from Knobel, the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey, the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Rickhouse Edition, the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Barrel Strength, and Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Finished Kentucky Straight Bourbon Ryder Cup Edition. Boy, that's a long one.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
That's like 9,000 points on Scrabble.
We could, then the show would be over.
Yeah. I mean, that would like go over on
then
one
Hee
side.
Haw would win again.
They go across the board and around the back side of the board and back over again. So, all right, so we're going to have Justin tell us about our sips ratings.
All right. It's Ronald Reagan coming in from the distant past to give you sips ratings.
Hi, Miss Ronnie.
1 sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
Water. Bring water. Bring water.
2 sips. Nice, but what else do you have?
Well, isn't that nice?
3 sips.
Nancy.
Interesting. What was this again?
Interesting.
That was toward the end of his second term, yeah.
Biden's or Reagan's?
Same.
Oh, okay. 4 sips. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
5 sips.
Bedtime for Bonzo.
Oh my. I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness!
Yes! 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 Yes!
Well, Bob, what'd you think of that?
That was one of his better ones.
Well, then tell us about our first whiskey.
It makes me slightly nostalgic, you know. When we had a Cowboys present, it was awesome. Come on, man.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Oh, well, what are you going to do? The 80s were awesome. Well, our first whiskeys that we have are from Knobel Whiskey. And Knobel Whiskey, if you saw the interview that we did, it's on our YouTube channel. I got to do an interview with the owner, or one of the owners of Knobel Whiskey, which is Mike Rowe, the host of TV's Dirty Jobs. The brand is named in honor of his grandfather, Carl Knobel, an electrician and all-around handyman with a knack for fixing or fabricating anything. He credits growing up next door to his grandfather and seeing his ability and his work ethic with his appreciation for good, honest work. And while Mr. Rowe was the first to admit that he didn't inherit his grandfather's skill at working with his hands, it was this appreciation for skilled labor that led him to creating the TV show Dirty Jobs. A portion of the sale of every bottle of Knobel whiskey goes to support the Micro Works Foundation. Through their Work Ethic Scholarship Program, they have given out over $5 million in funds to help people get trained for skilled jobs and trades that are in high demand. He has sent thousands of kids to trade schools who now have very, very good paying jobs.
You mean you don't have to go to college to get a good paying job?
No, you don't.
Wow.
You know,
Little known fact, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's little known.
yeah, exactly. So it was an honor to actually get to interview the guy. I tried not to fanboy too hard. If you watch it on YouTube, you will realize I did fanboy really, really hard. So, failed miserably. But, you know, God, I wish he'd run for president. We finally have somebody with some sense. So our first whiskey from Knobel is the base whiskey, their Knobel Tennessee whiskey. It's 45% ABV, 90 proof. It's non-age stated. This whiskey is made using the traditional Lincoln County process, charcoal filtration of the new make of the whiskey before being put into barrel for aging. I don't know how many feet. I know what you're thinking. Is it 10 feet like Jack Daniels? I don't know. Might be 10 inches for all I know. But it is filtered in the Lincoln County process. So on the color, it's got a nice sort of goldish brown on it.
Nice, promising color.
Yeah. I mean, all three of them are fairly similar. The cast strength one is a little bit darker, but got a nice color to it on the nose. Caramel. I get chocolate milk duds. A little bit of damp brown sugar. A little bit of cocoa. And on the palate, let's see. On the palate, you can absolutely taste that char, either barrel char or the charcoal filtering, but I definitely get that char on the front of the palate.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's definitely one of those. You don't know if it's the barrel char or the charcoal filtering, but it clearly comes through.
Yeah, and I'm getting some caramel on that. I'm getting a little bit of the brown sugar. A solid whiskey. You know, this isn't meant to be, you know, a collectible unobtainium. This is meant to be a good solid whiskey for a working guy to enjoy when he comes home from a good hard day, and I think they've succeeded. It's a solid whiskey. What did you think, Justin?
So I enjoyed it. The nose, I got more out of it when I nosed it kind of hard, and it was sweet and short. I got a little bit of figs, pancake syrup, a little bit of almonds in it on the nose. The palate was just down the middle pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in this that's going to burn your esophagus. You're just going to go right from this to your garbage TV show that makes you laugh and you don't care about the characters.
It's not off-putting, which is nice.
No.
You know, so that's what's nice about it is.
I call this a transition whiskey.
There you
Transition from your work day to your fun day.
That'll work.
Yeah.
What did you think, Brett?
Yeah, I got some of the on the nose and on the palate. I got some tobacco and orange. I got both of those on the palate that you guys had mentioned, the chocolate, and on the palate and the nose. I picked up a little bit of dandelion on both of them, which was
As soon as you said that, I get it in the front of the nose.
Yeah, it's but like as we said, this is just a nice, easy kind of sipper.
Yeah,
There's nothing offensive about it. Nothing that's going to say, "Wow, I have to go out and buy another bottle." It's going to be one of those ones that you're just going to enjoy.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we don't go over price, but it's, you know, on the show we don't really discuss price. But it's, I can tell you that the price on it is, you know, very reasonable. This is definitely something you can buy as a everyday kind of sipper kind of thing. So,
I'm looking forward to it. You know, and it's one of those ones you just don't see. You know, all the time when you're looking on a shelf for something. So I've not seen it anywhere on a shelf yet.
Well, at this point, honestly, I think they're struggling to keep up because, you know, having a name like that attached to it, it's, you know, I think it's selling as fast as it goes out. So good for them because, again, they're raising money for the foundation with it. So we're going to be rating the Knobel Tennessee whiskey, a well-deserved 3 sips.
Interesting.
So we've got our next one from Knobel. We're going to ask Brent to tell us about that one.
Thanks, Bob. This is the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Rickhouse Edition. It's 47.5% ABV, 95 proof, non-age stated. It's the Knobel Rickhouse Edition is made from Knobel Straight Tennessee Whiskey aged in American oak barrels and finished with French oak staves. So the French oak staves come through right off the bat on the nose.
Yeah, it really did.
Everything from the nose to the palate, it just was like cleaner and crisper than what we had there already. That was, just I think it kind of up. It was kind of like an up level of what we already had there. You don't have that charcoal. I think we got rid of the charcoal taste on it. That
I think the stave over basically took that out.
It took the charcoal out of it and stuff. We have the orange tobacco. One thing we picked up on this one that was lime. I picked up lime on this one that I didn't pick up on the first one. This would be great, neat over an ice cube, a little bit of Sprite or 7-Up, something like that.
A highball.
Yeah, exactly. This would be perfect for that. I can't. It's just a nice, clean addition of the previous expression.
Oh, I think this with a little ale 8 or ginger ale, maybe a little
ale 8,
little Verners.
I didn't think of ale 8.
Ale 8,
yeah, that would work.
Now we're talking mixing Tennessee and Kentucky, So
hey, they share a border. That works.
Yeah.
This could be called the
Ale
border.
Ale 8 is the universal
border,
mixer, man. I mean, come on.
This could be called the border drink.
And if you can't get it, again, Verner's is an acceptable substitute, So, but overall, what do you think, Justin?
So, I thought the use of the French oak was really cool. It gave it a pleasant dryness to it. So if you kept coming back to it, you don't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
It prevents you from being overwhelmed by it if you were prone to be. And I like the lime and salt thing. Kind of reminds me of a Corona. And if you hate a Corona, don't call me. I like it.
If only Jimmy Buffett were still with us, he could drink this with us. It would be awesome.
Would be great.
Can you imagine if we had him and Mike Rowe at the table together? That would be the greatest table ever. Come on.
Yeah.
But, solid whiskey. Again, well put together. So we're going to be giving the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Rickhouse Edition a well-deserved 3 sips.
Interesting.
So let's go to our next whiskey, and we're going to have Justin tell us about that one.
So we're going to talk about the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Barrel Strength. It's 60.5% alcohol by volume, or 121 proof.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the cast strength version of...
Are you waiting for him? Do you want him?
I want him.
I love that guy. So what happened? Oh, that F-35 went over my house for a crash. What did it sound like? It sounded like this. I'm telling you, when I hit the Powerball, I'm going to hire that dude just to follow me around and be like Elvis.
He could be your hype man.
You got it.
Yeah. So the color on this is like nice. Some kind of orange. It's very pleasant.
He doesn't want to say brown. He does not want to say brown.
Such the wordsmith. I swear. It's like doing a show with the reincarnation of Shakespeare or something.
I know. Y'all are so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So on the nose, I got like black cherries, chicory. On the palate, I got nice bright citrus. It was like kind of a nice, cool rice paper kind of texture to it. And the French oak, I think this has French oak, was also pleasantly used because it's got that nice dryness the other one had. And the finish, I expected it to be longer. It wasn't, but it was pleasant.
Yeah,
just because most high proof whiskeys, you're gonna get a longer finish.
When I first did this one on the nose, I was like, "There's nothing there." I had to swirl it around a little bit, and then it tickled my nose hairs. You know it's good that happens. So I got that cherry, the toffee, and you know what? The dandelions came back on this one from the first one on there on the palate. Bob picked it up. The peanut butter, toffee, and cherries, tobacco. This one is really a hit. This one is head and shoulders, I think, above the previous two that we just did. I think this is like a complete step up. More enjoyable. And maybe it's just because I'm a proof hog or something like that.
This is your first date with the new girl by the campfire whiskey. That's what.
There you go. Bring her along, Bob.
Yeah, that could be it. I'm just contemplating why everything has to involve his nose hair. That's an unpleasant thought. Yeah, this one.
Not for me. It's a very pleasant.
This one is. This one is an absolute step up. I mean, the nose alone is just so much bigger. So well put together. And it's, you got that toffee, huge cherry bomb for me on the nose. Just
going back, I'm getting a little bit of that, I guess, that baking spice.
Yeah.
When you're coming back into it now, I'm getting some more of that baking spice on it.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm getting some wood on it. I'm getting that older sort of dry oak.
Remember Hydrox?
Yeah.
Or the aftertaste of Hydrox?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Which is really very similar to your baking soda thing.
Because that's what he eats. He eats baking soda and Hydrox.
Yeah. Explains a lot. Sorry, Doc.
We'll be back.
But baby, the whole elation riding down this lover's avenue, as slow as a willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right, keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Hey, and we're back, and we are still discussing the Knobel cast strength. So I was just finishing up with that one. The nose on this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's and the nice thing about this one is I can take a slight, tiny little bit of credit for this one, because when I did the interview with Mike Rowe, he actually in the interview said, "Hey, let me ask you a question, because you know a lot about whiskey." And he goes, "The guys that I work with here, they're talking about, wanting to try and do a barrel something." I said, "Cast strength, barrel strength?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's it. What do you think?" And I said, "I think you absolutely should. I see no downside to it. And a lot of people enjoy cast strength whiskeys. They enjoy tasting, what God made, what came out of that barrel with it before you water it down or
let a person decide
with it.
A person decide where they want to have it in their palate. If they want to add water, if they want to add ice, they want to add something, let them decide for it. If you can have the opportunity to make it, make it.
Exactly.
So you did a good job there, Bob.
So he asked me that question. I'm like, "You're asking me a question? Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea." And he goes, "That's it. We're doing it." And a few months later,
and they sent it to you.
Yeah, and then it came out, and then I called them up, and they said, "Oh yeah, no problem." So they sent us one out. So that's kind of cool. I'll take whatever credit I can. But on the palate, when I tasted it, like I said, the first thing I got, peanut butter. For me, it's peanut butter, and it's not like peanut butter out of the jar. It's like the peanut butter like in a peanut butter cracker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of sugar mixed into it, and it's a little more solid and everything. It's that's the flavor.
Peanut butter powder.
Yeah, that's the flavor that I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
But which is funny, because when you get that peanuts, you usually think you're drinking Beam. But yeah, the peanut is definitely there. But yeah, overall, again, a really well done, solid whiskey, and I think we're all in agreement a step up from the prior two. So I think this one's a winner. So we're going to be rating the Knobel Tennessee Whiskey Barrel Strength a well-deserved 4 sips.
That's classified.
Well-deserved 4 sips.
Great
Yeah.
first effort by a new producer out there in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well, we're going to toss it over to Brent. He's going to tell us about our next whiskey.
Thanks, Bob. I'm going to go through the Scrabble alphabet here. The alphabet.
Go for it.
The Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, finished Kentucky Straight Bourbon Ryder Cup Edition, 47% ABV, 94 proof. Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is.
It's a good mouthful, though. I mean, you have to have one. So this limited edition release starts with a fully matured Elijah Craig small batch bourbon and finishes it in a new European oak barrels that have been toasted with a profile inspired by those used in the Lazio wine growing region. Lazio wines are grown in and around Rome, Italy, where the 2023 Ryder Cup is being held at Marco Simone Golf and Country Club, September 29th through October 1st. And I'm sure I got that name of the country club wrong. Simon, that's one of those two.
You got me.
If I was watching the Ryder Cup, I'd probably know. So,
well, figure Marco's probably Italian, so
Yeah.
I'll go with Simone.
there we go.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's why I'm here, to mispronounce everything. So each bottle is adorned with a neck label featuring the Ryder Cup trophy, a gold coin, emblazed cork featuring the Ryder Cup logo, and a face label prominently featuring the official bourbon designation and Ryder Cup logo. Elijah Craig is the official bourbon and whiskey supplier of the PGA of America, PGA Championship, KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and an official partner of the PGA National Club Championship and the AT&T Pebble Beach Tournament.
So does that mean the players during the tournament get to drink as much of this
I hope
as they
so.
want?
They better be able to. I mean, I would.
Or is that a performance-enhancing drug?
So
Because for me,
I think it's the opposite of performance enhancing.
For me, the first 2 or 3 shots would be performance enhancing, and then a sharp decrease in performance will follow after.
I'm just
That's
glad.
me.
I'm just glad this many golfers are enjoying bourbon.
Yeah.
So the color on this one, it's a 80s penny copper color. On the nose, I'm getting pepper, vanilla. That's my main things I'm getting on the nose. On the palate, I'm getting let's see here, a nougat bar. Like one of these nougat bars or one of these like toffee nougats that you get. Some light baking spice, vanilla, salted caramel. It's very different than your regular toasted Elijah Craig. This one, and it's meant to be different. So it's pleasant. I enjoy it. I can see why the golfers enjoy it. It's got a nice finish to it. Justin, what do you think?
So you definitely smell the wine finishing on the nose right off the bat. And then once I taste it, I get like very short traditional barrel notes of vanilla, corn, but the whole middle of the palate is sea salt caramel for me.
Yeah, the middle of the palate is where most of the flavor is on this one here. You get some of that up front and some of it in the back, but this is very, very middle of the palate bourbon here.
And then on the finish, I get pretty much a traditional Elijah Craig toasted barrel finish with like not much variation from the regular one we're used to. So I think the wine finishing affects the nose and the palate most. What did you think, Bob?
Well, I thought it was pretty good. It's different. It throws you off because you're used to the regular toasted. So when you tried this one, it's different than what you're used to. That's not to say
it's all those golfers are different.
Yeah, it's not to say better or worse. It's just different than what you were expecting if you've had the regular Elijah Craig toasted a couple of times.
But you will be tempted to judge it against your other Elijah Craig toasteds when you have it. I mean, it's just a natural thing that's going to happen.
But it's on the nose, big vanilla. It's like a cross between white pepper and black pepper. Not particularly hot, but just sort of that dustiness to it. And on the palate, I get a sweet note. I can taste the wine. I get that winey note, and like Justin had said before, salted caramel. The salted caramel absolutely actually comes through. So, yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So,
Bob, what are you doing over there?
Well, I'm pouring our next one, so we got some extra time. Let's do another one.
We got like a little bonus pour today.
Yeah, might as well.
Bonus pour Sunday.
Before we get to that, let's go ahead and give a rating to the Elisha Craig Toasted Barrel Finished Kentucky Straight Bourbon Ryder Cup Edition. Again, the longest name in history. We're going to rate that a solid 3 sips.
Yes.
Interesting.
So for our last whiskey of the day, we've got from Jefferson's, we've got the Jefferson's Tropics. So you're familiar with how they take some of their whiskeys, the Ocean Series, and send them around the world on ships and things like that. So with this one, they decided they wanted to try and do something different and see if they could do something with heat and humidity, but in a constant state. And where could they send the whiskey to do that? So
Florida?
Trey Zoller, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, just send it down here, put it in my backyard. It's November and it's 100 degrees
It's
out there.
a bottle a month tax for Bob.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
No storage
There's a
other
barrel.
than that.
There's a barrel bobbing in Justin's pool right now.
So this is their new
Gotta
one.
float on something.
This is the Jefferson's Tropics aged in humidity, just like all of us.
Yeah, we are aging in humidity
So
too.
it's a fully matured Kentucky bourbon whiskey that is then finished in the intensely hot and humid climate of Singapore.
Oh my gosh.
So they send it into Singapore, and Trey said it was like his bucket list place, one of the places he wanted to go. I'm totally with him because Singapore is awesome. I mean, it's like the crossroads of the world for food.
I want to take a vacation. Where can I take my barrel with me?
Yeah,
on a
exactly.
date.
Yeah.
So this is
That's a relationship that'll last for you, Brent.
Yeah, this is a brand new one. So basically, they did 9 containers with 720 barrels of Kentucky straight bourbon, went to Singapore in July of 2019. Then they were exposed to the severe heat and humidity for 18 months, resulting in a bourbon that is intensely flavored. So let's give it a try. What do you think, Brent?
Well, right off the bat, I'm getting a sea salt and pepper. Right now, I mean, I'm like, when I tasted this first, I was like, this was aged in the salt water or something, I mean, I don't why I got the sea salt right off the bat. The pepper, the vanilla, the honey. This is a winner to me. This one here, I'm really enjoying it. There's a little surprise bonus you threw on us today, and it's coming through nice. I mean, the color is a nice like a late 70s copper color. That nice mouth coating, but more forward palate on the mouth. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I like this one better than the Ocean.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
This is
you and I are both. You're the only person I know that has had the original Ocean. You're the only one I know besides me that's ever had it. I
Yeah.
mean, that was as rare as hen's teeth.
that one is,
And that was cool.
good. Yeah,
that was good.
That was really interesting when it first came out. I mean, it was like,
But
what are they doing here?
I think this one's better than the Ocean series. And honestly, you get more of that sea salt to it than you get the one that's been rolling around the hull of a ship.
I mean, that just really struck out at me right away. It's Justin, what are you thinking about this one?
I really like it.
Okay, we had his words.
Man, it's
I think-
about 4 more than he usually gives us. So
I think the 18 months of pushing, like this hot tropical climate is probably going to drive the whiskey into the wood.
Well, you know what? When somebody says like a hot climate, and I just keep referring to Texas and Florida, where I just haven't really found a bourbon that appeals to me from those two states, just because of the heat in those two states, and I don't think they get the fluctuation that's needed.
But here's the thing. You can make good whiskey in hot climates. You just have to know how to do it. And
Cavalon.
Kavalan, Amrut, Paul John. It's mostly malt whiskeys that I've had that come from insanely hot places that make really great whiskey.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff coming on. The girls that we always run into at KBF, Mila McGreen.
Yeah, I told her that she might be the first one.
That is the best Texas whiskey I've had.
Right, and it's not Texas. It's not Texas whiskey yet, but it's really close.
Yeah,
they're using their product and they're blending it, but they're really close.
But they're making great stuff. So it can be done in a hot climate. That's absolutely for sure. But you just have to know how. And I think people here are still kind of working it out. But this one
is definitely a hot climate.
Yeah,
and they're aged it well in it. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe they threw some air conditioning in that. On that,
it's also 104 proof.
Yeah,
which is pretty good proof for Jeffersons.
Yeah,
I see a lot of them in the 80s, 94. I don't see a lot of 104.
I like the design on the bottle too. So I like the design on the bottle. It's kind of
the package it came in had like big tropical leaves and everything. So well, we're going to rate the Jefferson's Tropics a well-deserved 4 sips.
That's classified.
Yeah, that one was a late minute addition to the show, but I think that one was definitely worth it. So
thank you for breaking it down.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the show. Thank you, Brent.
It really was a pleasure to be here today.
And thank you, Justin.
So happy to be here. Thank you. Great.
Yeah, not a bad day, is it? So
no, not at all.
Well, this is Made Man Bob, and I want to thank you for joining us. And remember, life is too short to drink bad whiskey. Unfortunately, we didn't have to do that today. So
no, this is one of the good days of drinking whiskey.
Yes.
And go to our YouTube channel and watch the micro interview. And please donate to the Micro Works Foundation. They're doing fantastic work out there.
And say good things about Bob, maybe too, or not.
Completely optional.
Nah, wouldn't know how to act.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap
it in.
the subscribe button.
Give it a little tappy. Tap-a-roo.
The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, Uncle Larry, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone. Play podcast Sip, Suds, and Smokes. We love your feedback, and you can reach us at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram with our handle @SipSudsAndSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands,
Millions and millions
of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor. Take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. Come back, join us for another episode, and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.